Hi everyone, welcome to THT, and today this is the third episode of the Enigma podcast. We have a very different crowd this time around. We got two new people we've never had on the podcast before, which is Dylan, and I'm so humble, and Beton could not join us this time around. So we are five of us, and we have a lot of very cool and interesting things to talk about. Hey guys, how is it going?
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Hello, racers.
Hello, racers, yeah.
Yep. You have to say it with more energy, Sip. After
Yeah.
No, I'm not like Baton. Like that's
Fair
why he's
enough,
always
fair
saying that for instead of me.
Yeah, it's 11 now. Low energy crowd. Cool stuff. So, well, I'm glad to have like a different set of people this time. So we'll have some different takes. But the first discussion we're gonna have is obviously if you want to hear about obviously the latest news was that the Tilburg tournament just happened. And Team Enigma did great, especially Sip here. But if you want to know more about his course in the event, you can listen. You can go on the Swoop Racers, and he has a very detailed report. We can also check out the Nordic Takedown, where Humble also had a great podcast with Sip, where they talk about this as well. They both talk about their performance in the event. So check this out. So we're not going to repeat on this. We're just going to talk about the current metagame. What do we think about it? Do we think it's good? Do we think it's bad? Are we personally enjoying it? And do we think it's going to move forward into a different, into something different in the future? Or do we think it's going to be relatively stale? So on this one, I want, Al, do you want to start on this one?
Yeah, sure. I don't know if this is just because of like the events that I can attend and things like that, and the fact that I'm commentating rather than playing in sort of the rest of the sort of big events in this set. But I'm kind of in the waiting room for the rotation. I think I would be anyway. I just think that I've had enough of these Spark of Rebellion leaders, and even just the leaders in the first three sets. I've had enough of them now. So even though I think the meta is technically very healthy,
says the guy who plays Sabine for like 10 fucking sets.
Yeah. Well, in fairness, I could have played other stuff to be fair, and I have done. But like again, you can play hand 2, you can play hand 1, Anakin or whatever. But it's the same leaders, right? Like none of the leaders from the new sets that good. We've seen a couple from Legends of the Force, and then obviously the pilot leaders are. I'm not a fan of pilots. Period. So it's like all of the leaders I would want to play have been in the game for ages. So I think I'm just waiting for rotation now, and I'm looking forward to that. I think the meta is technically healthy, and it has been for a long time. But I do think that like a lot of people, the new set just didn't have, the leaders especially didn't have enough of an impact, and the leaders from the past 3 sets haven't had enough of an impact for me. So I'm just kind of really looking forward to rotation.
Awesome. And yeah, okay, cool. Dylan, what do you think about the meta?
Yeah, I'm a little bit torn. I think it's quite versatile, diverse. So I like it, but on the other hand, it's pretty rough to have a deck which is good against everything. I mean, usually it has to be that way, but a lot of I like to see also new leaders after rotation, because Han Solo 2 has had his meta share for quite a long time now. So looking forward to it, hoping for maybe Thrawn to be a little bit better in the meta. But I think the meta is okay, but I haven't played that much this set because it was not much new stuff. So yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think there's a bit of like, we're playing the game, we're playing constructed to keep up with tournament play, but like people like Dylan and Al, who hasn't, and myself, I'm also including myself in there. We're not taking part in any major tournaments in this set, I believe. So we are less incentivized to grind the meta like some other people in this podcast. So Sip, what do you think about the meta? You are obviously closely following it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm pretty closely following it, and to be honest, like I'm okay with it. So the thing that I like about it is the fact that at the start it seemed like Beta is gonna be like figure out very quickly that Anakin Yoda is gonna be the best, but we've seen some shifts, like the Hantu being better, and honestly I'm also expecting some more shifts. Like I feel like Tarkin Town could easily come back, so I don't think the meta is as solved as it seems, so that's good. The weak point about it is the fact that um, we are just keep playing the same leaders from like the first 3 sets, and that's the negative. So yeah, that's the only issue I have with it. But besides that, yeah, it's pretty diverse, so I'm okay with it.
Okay, Humble, what's your...
I think, of course, it's a little bit boring, like everyone says, with the same leaders going round and round, but it's technically very healthy, and for me, it reminds me a little bit about set 3. It's not that hard to prep because you know what the 5 most played leaders are, and the set is kind of evolving a little bit, just like set 3 did, and I think we are in the Han yellow phase, but it's Han 2 ECL here, and I think, as Sip says, it's going to keep evolving. It's actually a little bit more fun to play than I expected it to be, because the top decks, I don't find them very fun to play, but you can play into them like I did with the Talsin. You can play Sabotark in town and stuff, so there are other options. But what I like with the meta, why it's healthy for competitive, is that you can actually expect a certain amount, like Han 1, Han 2, and Yoda and Piet, and actually like practice for those primarily.
Yeah, it's not as open as the previous metas, I believe.
Yeah, but it's not as close as maybe set 2 or like maybe and Django meta. So I think it's like a good mix about.
Okay.
I think it's particularly true if you count the top cut. But if you say, okay, for the white field, the top decks are Hantu and Yoda and Piet, but then there is still 60% of the other decks which can be a total random one, and
yeah, but like just to judge on this, I think I agree with Humble on this one. So it's like, yes, the meta, if you look at the percentage like of the overall field, is relatively diverse. But as a top player, you don't really, as someone who is looking to make top 8 or looking to make day 2, you don't really worry about the entire field. You're just worried about what the good players play. And if you look at what the good players play, it's actually not that diverse. And this is where, like, obviously there's going to be random people playing random stuff, and you're going to have, like, for example, like Boba Daredevil is going to be heavily represented, but if you only have to worry about what the top, the players, that the really good players are playing, then it's not that open, I think.
Yeah, then it's fine.
Yeah, which is makes the prepping a little bit easier for those who don't have like unlimited time to spend on the game. So in that sense, it's healthy. It would be fun if there was one or two of the new leaders that were more like represented, but I think maybe Sabe will take a little bit bigger portion of the meta going forward because she's actually decent into Hantu ECL and Hantu in general.
Yeah. You good, Ambo?
Yeah, I think so. Like, and as I said, like surprisingly fun to play when I found a deck that was actually good into most of their top stuff. So just play Talsin, guys. It's more fun.
Yeah.
Talsin doesn't even have 50% win rate.
I had more than 50.
Yeah, just because of the game.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Yeah. So
did you do fine against Yoda?
I didn't play Yoda in the whole event, but in my prep, I was definitely fine. In the prep, I was fine.
Okay.
Yeah, so my opinion on the meta is that I think, so in terms of like diversity, it's definitely less diverse than Legend of the Force and Jump to Light Speed post Django. But some people think it's a positive, like you guys think it's a positive. Some people may think it's a negative, so that's subjective. But what is objectively true is like it's definitely less diverse. Obviously, just like you guys, I personally find the meta to be incredibly boring. Not because, like, once again, not because the decks are boring. I think actually Yoda, Devault, Hantu, those are pretty cool decks. It's just decks we've been seeing for like over and over again. Like even like Yoda Devault is technically was not super meta, but it's the same color combination, it's the same kind of cards that we've been seeing over and over again. So it's really kind of we're basically kind of on a repeat mode we've been for a while. I think the main offender is the fact that Secret of Power has completely failed to bring new archetypes to the table. We're not even talking about like new leaders, like new archetypes. No, like Secret Power has completely failed, just like Twilight of the Republic, by the way, has completely failed to bring a new archetype. But at least Twilight of the Republic was bringing new leaders, while this one is just bringing individual cards that are busted, but it's not changing the way we play the game. It's not changing the way we're building decks, as opposed to Legend of the False, where you had really cards that were properly like, you had like false cards that were really working within their own shell. It that also brought old cards that were not previously seeing play, like False Lightning and stuff. It was really interesting because the false decks were very powerful, but they were also competing with the previous decks, and it was bringing new blood to the game. Well, in this case, the set has completely failed to bring new archetypes to the table. Only just added busted cards, and that's about it. So I think this set is making the meta extremely redundant and boring in my view. Again, not because like the decks are fine to play against. I think the meta is healthy, quote unquote, but it's just extremely stale compared to what we've seen before, and that's basically because of Valve's fault. And I think there's also a syndrome, is because we are so close to rotation. People are kind of like taking that opportunity to kind of dismiss this meta because they know it's going to be irrelevant in a couple of months. So there's also that phenomenon as well.
Yeah.
Following up also on what Sip was saying about the fact that he thinks that the meta is going to evolve, I am not so sure about this. So, okay, well, we're probably going to see more talking down decks to counter Antu, but the problem is like those talking down decks don't really beat Yoda. So it's like you're going to see more Cat Bane, you're going to see some more Sabe, but those decks have not really done super well because they're not beating Yoda.
Game into Yoda.
Sorry?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Game into Yoda. So I think we'll see more Sabe at least.
Yeah, I think also
Sabo has horrendous matchup against Yoda, like from what I've been saying.
Okay.
I wanted to add Talzin. I think Talzin is one of those decks that could be now better, and like since Humble is saying that he's doing well into Yoda, then that's like a sign that this deck can beat also Hunt UCL, because that was the case for a long time. So like Talzin could come back.
Maybe, yeah. Basically, my thoughts are, if like those new like Hantu counters, also basically they make it so control becomes a thing again, then we're gonna get the ball rolling. Because then, but if they don't end up doing this, it's just basically Yoda beat them, then it's just gonna stay the same, I think, because Yoda is just too represented, and I don't think you can play a deck into a field that can't beat Yoda. But
I think the change could be that like decks like Piet and Anakin keeps moving down and gets replaced by Sabe and Talzin. Maybe we don't get like villainy control back, because I think Yoda is the control deck we're gonna see.
Yeah,
mostly.
Well, it's not really a control deck, but yeah.
It's slow at least.
Yeah, it's the slow deck of the format. I agree. But like you see, I don't think that's gonna be the case, because I don't think Sabe, like, I don't know about Talzin, but I don't think Sabe is and Cat Banes are beating Yoda, and that means that.
No, I necessarily don't think they need to. If they can beat Han2 ECL, you can gamble on not beating Yoda, because Yoda is not beating Han2 ECL, so it becomes a little bit rock paper scissors. Could become like that.
I don't know, man. Like, also Yoda is like, I don't think Yoda is that bad against Han2. Like, I think the way Yoda players have been building their deck now, they're not. Then they have like a 40%, 45% against Han2. It's bad, but it's not like horrendous.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Sip, but like it doesn't feel like this is a horrendous matchup for Yoda.
I mean, I don't think it's like horrendous matchup, but yeah, like we'll see. But yeah, like Hunter is definitely favorite into that, and yeah, like now we have kind of the question, like maybe like Tarkin Town decks can be built in a way where they beat Hantu ECL and like Hantu, and they don't have like a horrendous matchup into Yoda. Like that could be also the case. Not necessarily saying that they have to be favorite, but just if the matchup is not like terrible, maybe they can be here.
Yeah, you're right. But like I think what's gonna end up happening is that they're gonna barely they're gonna do like 50-50 against Antu ECL, and then they're gonna get beaten by Yoda, and that's gonna be the end of it. Like, that's how I feel. But
I think Han 2 ECL will probably stay on top for the rest of meta, but it just won't be like, it won't win 40% of the PQs. Like,
no.
Yeah, I agree. Like I think they're like Hunter still I think is gonna be like be the like kind of quantum quote the best deck, but I feel like there are gonna be people definitely trying to counter it. Maybe not Tarkinton, but like one way or the other for sure something is gonna come up.
Okay. Because one of the things as well, I think, is that Hantu ECL is a fairly difficult deck to play. So there's also a lot of people who simply just do not have the skill to run it. So I think it's a deck that has been historically underrepresented because of that, I think.
I feel like we reached the point where like people like know how to play. Like it does a lot of like wins in PKOs and such. Like I feel like it's been around for enough time for people to know how to play it. Like Han1 Green had also like this like stigma that it's like a hard deck to play, and there are a lot of players playing it right now because it's been around for a long period of time.
Okay, cool. Well, I think we're done with the meta discussion. Now we have a little spicy topic for you guys. I want everybody to tell me what they think is the best card in the game and the worst card in the game. So when I think about, best card in the game, of course, self-explanatory, the most powerful card in the game.
Only one or some?
Yeah, no, just best card in the game.
Just one.
Oh,
that's rough.
Sorry. Before that topic, sorry, I'll actually let me know. There's actually we were gonna just talk about the latest spoilers from Lawless Time. Priority subject. We have the topic about the latest Lawless Time spoilers. So go over everybody. Just I want this to be a dynamic discussion, so everybody can kind of like jump into like the ideas of card that jump into their minds. But basically, among the latest cards that have been spoiled, so from Lando Calrissian onward, what do you think is like the card that jumped to your mind, a card that you think are exciting for the game, or a card that you think is going to be super busted, or stuff like this? So I want to start with Adam with this one. Adam, what do you think about the latest spoiler? Have you kept track of it?
Not too much, but actually, as you said, Lando, I'm just gonna be cheap and go on with Lando because I think he's actually quite interesting. Since you on the deploy gets basically 3 extra resources.
Oh, you're talking about the leader Lando. I was talking about Lando Calrissian, the Sentinel unit. So from Lando to Lando, we're going from the.
So
earliest spoilers we're talking about is Lando Calrissian, the unit. The latest spoilers we're talking about is obviously the latest one, which is Lando leader. Okay.
Then I'll do the Lando leader.
Because
because that's actually interesting. Like when deployed, you may defeat a friendly credit token if you do create 3 credits. So it's basically the new Han 1 in a way, like where you get multiple resource extra in a round to play a bigger card. It's just that he goes on turn 6 in like turn 5 instead. So
I think it's very different than
it's different,
than
but it's
Han.
the same thing about cheating resources.
Okay,
playing something bigger on like prior to turns. If it works, like if you can make the credits regularly, and it looks like he can. So I think he's very interesting as a leader, at least. And I like that they put him as a 6-drop because we don't need meta with the 5 drops are the best forever. So I'd say him.
Yeah, I think his ability is strong enough that he can kind of have like a pretty mediocre stat line for deploy cost. But the thing is, like, one thing is important is that he does cheat out resources, but you need to spend that resources before that. So you're spending that. So you're playing on the curve on the turn before to be played over curve on the turn after, which is not something we've seen before. Now we only have leaders that allow you to cheat the curve every single turn, like Han 2 and Han 1, but we don't have a leader that. So he's definitely a much more interesting design. Well, I agree with you. He's a much more interesting design than Han 2. He seems to be a more balanced design, and I think he might be pretty powerful. The only big constraint for him is that in order to make his ability consistent, I think his ability needs to be consistent because I think because his stats are so bad, you need to abuse the ability for this to work. And for you to abuse the ability, you really need to have an entire deck made out of the same aspect.
Yeah.
I'll go on.
Maybe. I'm not necessarily sure it has to be, but maybe.
I think if you spend one resource using the ability and you don't get the credit token, you're going to be so far behind.
I completely agree with that. I think he needs to play mono deck.
But I think the best way to go about it is mono heroism. Probably the least constraining. But we'll see. Cool. Anything else?
Yeah. As long as you play heroism, because you can choose heroism as an aspect, and then it's pretty safe. You don't need to double yellow.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I do think that you can insert. You're gonna, but yeah. So in that sense, I agree. You cannot do too much multicolor in your deck. I completely agree. Yeah.
It's like the Thorrk cause tax, right? You just Thorrk cause as your whole deck for you. Yeah. Which I've seen is fairly easily done. It's not that much, it's not a ridiculous cost to do that.
Yeah.
And you will also get better as more cards get revealed, and as more sets are being added, because it'll be easier and easier to build like only on heroism over time.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting deck building decision, right? Because like you can just play like lots of 8-drops, or like some strong 8-drops to do on the flip turn, and obviously once you deploy, because it's a when deployed, your opponent doesn't have a way to interact with that. So you're basically guaranteed to be able to do it. It's not like hand 1 where they can interact with hand 1 leader and stop it. And then also but you can use the ability turn 1, and then turn 2 you get to play 4-drops. You can put put these points in your curve, so your deck's full of like 4-drops and 6-drops and 8-drops and things like that. So it'll be interesting to build the deck and see how it turns out.
Yeah, and actually, especially on turn 1, there is quite a lot of decent turn 1 plays that cost 1 that you can do in combination with I'm going to do this ability and the 1 cost, and really bank on that. You could also just bank on you hitting it on the turn 1 and then play the rest of the game curved until you beat the big break point on 8. So, like, depends on how powerful the cards are that you want to shit out.
Yeah. By the way, you can get a 9-drop on deploy, not an 8-drop. Because it's 6 cost plus 3 credit tokens.
Yeah, so you can save the credit tokens.
But you have to defeat the friendly credit tokens, so you'd have to have 2, right, to do that. But
yeah, you can technically have quite a lot of credit tokens.
As long as you have 1 credit token as you deploy, you get up to 9 resources.
Yeah, of course, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, 9-drops, which actually it's probably worse, honestly, because the 9-drops are kind of worse than the 8-drops. But
depends
not
on what they spoil. Yeah.
But that's right. Yeah, of course. You need to make sure you've got 1 credit, and then you can do 9-drops. That's right.
Okay. Sip, any card that you want to talk about?
I mean, there are a few interesting ones. Like, first, we have Kalus. I think Kalus is interesting with the aspect penalty ignoring. Like, I can see him working well with some sort of like control build. Like, not sure if you will see those, but like double aspect legendaries, like playing Vigilance for 5 would be really good in like a control shell with him. There are some other removal cards that you can play with him. I don't even know if like ignoring the heroic part of him is like even that relevant. I feel like playing other cards would be like seems strong with him. But yeah, like after I looked at what are like the options to play out of aspect with him, there are like not even that many of them, because a lot of them are rotating out. But if we see some sort of like new double aspect legendaries like we had in set 1, I think Kalus seems interesting. So yeah, there is that one. And one more thing is that in general, there are so many expensive like teamy type of cards in this set, like Kylo, Rey, Base, Maul, Luke. Like there are so many of those cards that don't really have like instant impact necessarily. I guess Luke has, like he can enter play ready or like deal 5 damage to something, but there are a lot of like those huge cards, and a lot of like good removal is like rotating out, like Fel the Dragon, Power the Dark Side and such. And I'm curious if we'll end up in a meta where we just play all of those big cards and there's like not much removal to deal with those cards.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about this, but there's still no glowing result. There's still, I'm pretty sure they're gonna reveal other spot removals. There's also, what's it called, Condemn. So there are some removal. I just think that I don't necessarily think that because we have a lesser diversity of removal, we're gonna see less removal. That makes sense. Like, I think there's gonna be a lesser diversity of removal, but it doesn't necessarily mean that people are gonna be playing fewer removal. But obviously, as long as we are not guaranteed to see, they also confirmed that there will be some sort of super laser blast effect in the set. So that also, so we have to wait and see if there's gonna be a hard control. But obviously, as it stands, Agent Callus is much more interesting in Eternal than it is in Premiere. But obviously, things can change with him very, very quickly, so it'd be interesting to find out. Also, have to point out that the healing, though, once he's deployed, is actually quite relevant. Like, healing 2 every time you play a white card, that's actually... It actually pays for the aspect... Like, you're paying extra for your card, but then you're healing 2, it kind of pays for itself. That makes sense? So I think
I think he has a fairly good stat line also on flip, so this guy can become really good.
Yeah, especially when the next 2 sets come
Yeah.
out, so he stays in the game a long time.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, he's gonna need more cards to be good. Unlike
Probably gonna reprint Vigilance.
I don't.
They?
Oh, please no.
it's
Please
the name
no.
of the aspect.
Oh, I as a control player, I really do not
Or
wish
call
to
it
see Vigilance come back.
Vigilance 2, Vigilance B.
Like, it just makes
Yeah, I
the,
would like
the
it.
control mirror so boring. Like I honestly think that if you're gonna be giving win condition to control, give something exciting. Give us like a Death Star. Give us something that is cool. Like, Vigilance is like milling your opponent like on the second mode of Vigilance, like the most boring way.
Yeah, I mean, I agree on
kill
that. But
someone.
on the other hand, what's the payoff of playing double aspect if you don't have those strong cards?
No, I agree, but there should be others like bring new double aspect cards that are really strong, but please not Vigilance. Like, if honestly you can reprint all 3 others, but not
the
Vigilance.
milling aspect, is a bit rough.
I think the point of him this set as well. I'm not even sure if we're going to get double aspect like cards like that, because there's going to be a lot less space because they're putting in all these multi-aspect cards. I think the point of him is that you play him with the multi-aspect cards, right? Like, you can play the Luke legendary for 1 more and things like that because you ignore all the aspect penalties.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think we necessarily need like the double aspect cards with him, but obviously in Eternal that will be the idea. I'm going to go with one that I've heard nobody talk about, but it's like classic Owl, where it's like a card that is just definitely going to be pretty good, and that's Leppy Lookout, the weird bunny thing.
Yep.
It's just,
That's what I wanted to say.
Oh, there you go. Sorry. Well, just a 3/1 shielded overwhelm is just a phenomenal stat line, right? Like, we know 2/2s, obviously shielded have been great, basically the entire time the game's been out, and they're still pretty good now. But like, having overwhelm is okay, but having 3 power is obviously just fantastic for an aggressive unit. There's such a huge difference between 2 and 3 power, and then there's not that big a difference between 1 and 2 HP when you've got a shield on you. So
And
so
Blue
obviously
had a little bit of a problem. Green villain needs to have good starting unit, and that would be a really good one.
Now, we don't know how good Vigilance Command is going to be. It's obviously not the most aggressive aspect. Like, this will be... Leppy Lookout will be amazing in aggression or cunning or something, but... So it's probably the worst colour for her, or for it. But yeah, I think that, even just any deck that's playing blue-green, you'll obviously just stick 3 of these in. So it's just another strong 2-drop. I don't think we've seen any others this set so far. So yeah, we needed to get a few strong 2-drops. So yeah, I'm looking
He's going to hate Talzin, though.
That's true. Yeah, that is very, very true. That might honestly
really
make the
good.
difference
Really
if
good.
Talzin, because if Talzin's in a 6-set meta now and it's still a playable leader, so post rotation Talzin's probably going to be really strong. So if that's the case, then that might prevent Leppy Lookout from being good enough.
What you think about the new fair bad barrage, but still probably pretty decent?
I think it's going to be decent after rotation. It should be decent.
Nothing
It's
left to fear.
nothing like Barrage though, right? Because
No, it's
there's
more like
nothing like
Craving.
well, yeah,
but it's really a
exactly.
lot
It's
worse
more
than
like
Craving.
it's like
It's
Craving,
also
but like
worse than Craving.
It's
it's
way
a lot
worse.
worse than
way
Craving.
worse.
It's honestly really bad to say it's like like even just compared to Vanquish, I prefer Vanquish to this, right? Like, yes, you give a unit +2/+2, but Vanquish means you can be behind on board and still play it. And with this one, you have to have a unit on board. It has to be big enough with the +2/+2 to defeat their unit. I think this card, I mean, it might just be what we have to play because we've got no other options, but I think this is honestly just a weaker version of Vanquish. And Vanquish, it's like long since stopped seeing play, really. So,
It's gonna be. I think it's gonna see play, but it's gonna be very niche. It's gonna be in heroism deck only for sure, and it's gonna be very niche.
Yeah.
And Al, you know what's better than a 3/1 shielded unit
Go on.
for 2?
Yeah,
a
of course.
4-1 shielded unit for 2.
Of course, yeah,
But
yeah.
Kazakhstan is rotating out.
I know, but like, bro, in Eternal, this is gonna be like
It's perfect
like
for Gar, yeah.
Gar
Okay.
is eating so well in 2-drop because 2-drops lack of good turn 1 play was actually Gar Saxon biggest weakness, and now between Han Solo, the new Han Solo, and the Lepi, oh boy, the turn 1 is gonna be spicy for Gar Saxon. Anyway, too
Yeah,
bad it's not
absolutely.
gonna be legal, but in Premiere, but like in Eternal, if like the thing is like it's hard to speculate about Eternal is because we don't know if there's gonna be a ban list or not. But assuming we're rolling with the same ban list as the old Premiere, I think Gar Saxon might be a very big strength to be reckoned with
I do think with Eternal as well, just a thought about this, because it feels like this kind of big nebulous, anything couldn't go. But we're basically playing in Eternal right now, right? We've
Yeah.
got 6 sets. Eternal's going to be basically the meta we've got now, but one more set. So
assuming
at
there's
least
no
for the
ban.
first
Assuming
few-
there's no ban.
Assuming there's no ban, yeah. Assuming the same ban list, which,
Yeah.
Again, I think it's either going to be a smaller ban list or the same ban list. I don't think they're going to add more cards personally. They might do, but I don't think so. So
No, they're
assuming
not
don't,
gonna add more. They might add less though. They
Yeah.
might
So
remove a
there's-
few things.
Do you know what I mean? So there's not really much reason to think that the really strong leaders we see now, Han 2, Han 1, these like leaders that are just core, incredibly powerful leaders that get better and better every single set because of the nature of their ability. There's not really much reason to think they won't be just incredible leaders in Eternal again. So I'm not because I think people are kind of expecting Eternal to be this kind of like Wild West format where anything goes. But like if you're being competitive in Eternal, I feel like it's going to be a lot of Han 2. But yeah, Gar is absolutely getting a huge boost with Lepi Lookout and Han.
Yeah, I mean, we can see how big of a difference a few cards can make. Like, a Hantu ACL has not always been like the powerhouse it is today. It's just because it keeps getting card every set, bro.
Yeah, but
like,
the ability
green
gives
white
it
is
cards,
just
though, right?
insane. Like the green white on the last set was insane. Like
It was, but I think Hantu, by nature of his ability, like makes he gets so many more cards than other leaders do. Do you know what I mean?
for
So
sure,
it's
yeah.
like
He breaks already good cards for others.
yeah, but there's
Really
also
by his power.
yeah, I agree. But there's also like a kind of a at some point the curve flattens out. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like
agreed,
at some
yeah.
point as you're just getting at some point you're already every single slot is already like best in class, and having more card that can fit in the deck, it's just more option. It doesn't make the deck strictly better. While you see like cards like Lepi Lookout and Han Solo are making Gar Saxon ECL strictly better. So that's also have to be taken into account.
very true. Yeah, very good point.
That's fair.
Dylan, do you have any cards that you are excited to see for the new set?
So I also wanted to say this little rapid, the Lepi Lookout, but
Okay,
now, as already said, it's a little bit difficult. The other ones, you can't really know if they are good or not. They might be looking good on paper, but it depends on what else get dropped. Like Array, maybe not that bad.
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
Ray
at
is
least
great.
She
Yeah.
sticks around. And also, I can see that base Malbus looks not that good, but there might be some combo decks where you can heal him up all the time and kill all the enemy units. But it's on 7, and he has to get injured, and then you have to heal him next turn, so it might not be that good. So yeah, definitely. Lepi Lookout was my first pick, and my second pick would have been the Agent Colors, as I told you yesterday, how you think about him, because I think he could be decent in future. Yeah, nothing to add there. I don't think, which I think sounds not that bad, but I think is really bad, is the new Forlom. I mean, you have to have a bounty on the unit, and I'd rather have a unit having ambush with 5 than having another unit out to attack with the other unit.
Well, he himself is a bounty hunter though, so he can attack with himself.
Oh, good
Oh.
point. I didn't know that. Yeah.
So he basically has ambush,
Oh,
or
he
he has
basically has
either
ambush.
ambush or you
Okay.
attack with
Then-
another unit. Yeah,
Then
Then
I
he's-
totally misread that and think he's actually decent.
yeah. There you go. Glad to be of service.
Yeah, the only problem
Actually good.
though is that
Thanks.
a 4-5 ambush, which it will be most of the time, right, is not that good. Like Bosk is a 4-5 with upside, and it doesn't see play anymore. and he only has a
But
double aspect requirement.
But again, we're in 6 sets though, right? Like Bosk in set 1 did see play. So when we were in set 1 meta, it did, and obviously we're going to be in 3 set meta. So 4 sets, sorry. So yeah, it probably won't be enough. But and again, the triple aspect. Just something I want to quickly touch on as well.
But but then it's I think it's good.
No, go ahead.
And it's a
yeah,
droid.
it's
Maybe that
I mean,
counts, and it's Underworld.
it obviously would have been completely unplayable if he didn't have that, if he couldn't pick himself. What I just wanted to say quickly as well is that for me this is going to be a really good test of late game expensive units. Like you said, it's a very Timmy set where we've got these huge legendaries, big powerful things, because basically the more sets you add into a game in general, the better aggro gets, because decks become more efficient, the game ends quicker. So like I think on average, this is post rotation, we're going to be in a world where we're at the minimum number of sets at 4, and we've got our set fully focused. One of the main mechanics of the set is ramp. It's obviously the credit token, so specifically ramping cards out, ramping units out. So we've got a mechanic focused on big units. We've got the smallest number of sets. So if aggro dominates this set, I feel like these big Timmy cards are never going to work, because like they really should work this set. So yeah, I really hope, as an aggro player, obviously I want aggro to do well, but I really hope we actually do see some Baze Malbus and some Ray and some Ben Solo, whatever, actually see play. But I'm very skeptical, honestly, because I think people underestimate if something costs 8 and it doesn't affect the board immediately. You have to be in a very, very specific situation for that not to just lose you the game. But we'll have to see.
Yeah, but if you ramp Ray out 1 or 2 turns early,
but the way I look at it though, if you're ramping her out, like if you just think about resupply is obviously a super strong card, right? But it's not like busted right now. It's just like a good card, or very good card, but it's not busted. But obviously the huge difference is it ramps your leader out. If you're paying resources and cards and things to ramp units like normal ramp does, but you're not ramping your leader. Look at Backed by the Huts, the latest card to be revealed, right? 3 cost cunning card, create a credit token. You can deal damage equal to the number of credit tokens. That's very minor, honestly, dealing 1 or 2 points of damage. But it creates a credit token for the same resource cost as resupply. So they've kind of costed creating credit tokens. They're not costed the same as ramping, but in that sense they kind of have. And it's like, resupply is so much better than creating a credit token. It's obviously not even close. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just a bit scared about these credit tokens and if they're actually going to be good. But I really hope so.
Well, no, credit tokens are currently priced at 1. Because unmarked credit is 1 resource per the credit token. So, just talking about Ray very quickly. Ray, she has no immediate impact on the board, but because she is basically unkillable, that's okay. But she's not meant to be played against a regular tempo / mid-range / aggro deck. It's an anti-control card. It's gonna be a sideboard card, in my opinion, and it's gonna meant to be okay. Well, this is gonna be It's going to be another card that was designed to screw over control, because FFG really doesn't want control to exist. But it's not going to be a card you're going to see in every deck. Just going back on Baze Malbus, I think he actually has a chance to see play, because there's actually no other card in the game that does something that he does, like 8 health on the ground with Sentinels for 7. But obviously, whether it's going to be played or not is going to be totally meta dependent. How many removals are we going to see? How many removals aggro and mid-range deck are going to play? So that's going.
How many space aggro decks there are?
Yeah,
because he doesn't stop them.
Yeah, so that's a big question mark. But he has a chance to see play, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, could be cool builds around it.
Yeah, the healing stuff is you're never going to use that, realistically speaking. But it's just a big Sentinels on the ground, which is something we've never seen before, really. We've seen the Krennic, but Krennic is outrageously expensive. Baze Malbus is actually reasonable as 7.
I think it's just SIP now, is it? Did SIP say his thoughts?
Carlos.
SIP,
yeah, it was Carlos and like me cards in general.
So, sorry, SIP, is there any card that jumped to you that you want to talk about?
No. Like I mentioned, like I already talked about Kalus, and yeah, that was.
Okay, yeah. You're talking about Kalus.
Anything else?
Okay, well, I have not talked about what I believe is the most powerful card that has been revealed since from Lando to Lando, which is the Lawbringer. This card is insane. It's basically, in my view, it's better than Snoke on many levels.
Yeah.
it's so much. One of the big problem with Snoke is that because it's a ground unit with only 6 as a 6/6, even though it gives -2/-2 to everything, he's still a card that is relatively easy to kill. Good luck getting rid of a 7/7 in space, especially if you don't play hard removals, which we know most of them will rotate out. And the fact that, so his -2/-2 is not permanent, but the fact that he's so much more survivable than Snoke is a big deal. And also the fact that his capital ship obviously means that Piet can play it for a massive discount. And the fact that his -2/-2 also applies to leaders is a big deal. If you compare this to Snoke, which was only applying to units, the fact that Lawbringer applies to leader is a big deal. Lawbringer is basically, in my opinion, a better Snoke, and Snoke is already, as we know, one of the most powerful late game card in the game. I'm really, really glad that FFG finally prints a good late game card. I don't think it's going to be enough, especially with all the stuff that's rotating out to support control, but it's a good start.
Yeah, it's a good legendary for sure. Obviously, don't forget that Snoke gets the ability on everything that's not a leader, but Lawbringer, obviously, if they've got like a command and a vigilance unit out, it can only pick one. So it's, in that sense, it's, like another really important thing about Lawbringer is it doesn't kill Nemec and Spy. So, that's, and again, I think Nemec is like the most impactful card in the game. So I think that those slight things do make it like compete more with Snoke, but absolutely, we're losing Snoke. We needed something to replace it, and this is it.
Yeah, and Snoke was a force unit which you could like search with own loss and something like that, or play with Emperor's Return for cheap. But yeah, vehicles have other synergies as well. So capitals especially
Triple Dark Raid.
in Eternal, if it's legal.
God, Lawbreaker Triple Dark Raid is actually nasty, bro. You get a -4/-4 and 7 attacks.
Yeah, but
Jungle Bloom.
yeah, it's nasty, but I think there are still better targets for Triple Dark Raid.
For sure.
Yeah, well, it's still fun. Anyway.
Yeah, and when I read the spoilers, I always thought, that's actually good with ECL, and then I thought, oh, we are losing ECL. So
I've done that so many times.
Yeah.
Same with Triple Dark Raid. Just say it's good with Triple Dark Raid. Yeah.
It's an 8 cost, so you cannot even ECL that.
No, he meant like other cards.
Yeah, not
Like,
this not this card. In general.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, not this, of course.
Don't worry, Dylan. I knew what you meant.
Yeah, but probably we get an epic action which can ECL a unit which costs more than 6 with all.
No, I was going to say, have you seen the one last thing on the spoilers? Have you seen the bases this set? We're not getting anything of ECL power level again.
No. I wanted to vomit when I saw that, bro.
Yeah. If the bases are the new legendaries, I'm okay with that. If legendaries are good and bases suck, that's fine. I'm fine. It's fine.
Yeah, but it's still a big deal to have a bad base. Like, bases are such a big deal for the game. It's such a shame that they're not. Like, it feels like this. So we're talking about Alliance Outpost, obviously, and it feels like this card has been like nerfed last minute. I was like, oh my god, giving a free credit token is too good. We need to make it so it has a cost to it, and they put this last minute, and they probably didn't play this after because this is so bad. Oh my god.
It really is. It really is.
I just realized that it's an epic action. Meaning that you can use only once per game. I thought it's like once per round or something like that.
It's honestly the worst of every single possible world. Like this thing should be a 29 HP base. Do you know what I mean? Like what? Like 26?
It should be a 31 HP base, bro.
Just for the admin of having to do it. Yeah, like, it's crazy. It's crazy how bad these bases are, all of them. And it's, the funny thing is we're losing obviously ECL and things like that, but obviously we're keeping Data Vault and we're keeping Colossus and we're keeping like actually strong bases, especially Data Vault.
False bases,
like,
bro.
These bases have to be good to compete, and then they're nowhere near good enough.
Yeah, they have to compete with false bases as well. Like, false bases are going to be a real thing in the rotation. Yeah.
Yep. 100%.
So, yeah, no. I'm going to go a little bit on a rant because there's something that still kind of, with all the spoilers we've seen so far, that kind of still bothers me. If you guys allow me to go on a little bit on a rant, is basically, so I have two problems with the spoilers we had so far. The first problem I have is I still think legendaries are not great. We're talking about, there's 7 legendaries been spoiled so far. There's 2 of them that are strong, the Lawbringer and Ray. There's one which is, in my opinion, a maybe, which is Maul. And then all the legendaries are bad, which is 4 of them. So that's, out of the 7 we had so far, 4 are bad 1 is a maybe and 2 are good. That is not
Is Luke
good
really
enough.
bad?
Luke,
is better than Maul, I think. I think Luke
is pretty good.
why?
he's
Okay, we're gonna have a bit of a
significantly
discussion here because I think Luke is absolute garbage.
Depends on the removals. I also think it might fire back the Luke. I can choose, and if I have a removal, I just give him my credit and remove his.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if there's if there's no units on the ball, you can just say 5 damage, nothing happens.
Yeah.
It's such a bad, like, basically, guys, compare Luke to what's it called, to the new Thrawn. The new Thrawn already doesn't see much play. He's not unplayable.
It's a 6-set meta
No, but
again.
it's a new set, and in the new set he will.
I'm not saying Luke would see play in this meta. Of course he wouldn't. But again, we're in a new world though, and Maul. It's the same problem all over again. It's just another unit that doesn't do something when he comes into play. Like, that hasn't been good ever. Even in set 1, when we only were set 1 meta, units that didn't do anything when they came into play were bad then. Now, credit tokens might fix this, but they probably won't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
but
but yeah,
Maul,
agreed. I mean, I
has,
don't
has
think
some
there's-
synergies, bro. Like if there's just
Go on.
one way to give something like, you can play it with obviously you can play it with Dryden Voss to give him
Yes.
You also can play it with Nemean Strike, like the card that costs 1 attack with a force unit and give +1 attack. Like, there's ways to give him immediate impact. You have to build around it.
Yeah, but then you're the 8 cost and it's a 2-card combo, right? Like, I think Dryden Voss is the savior for Maul, right? Like 100%. Dryden Voss is the way that Maul might see play. If that's a that's it.
I think so many of these great 7 and 8 drops are removed. I think Luke, I think Maul, they will see play. Like, there is nothing significantly better to play on 7. Of course,
Yeah.
Caloran back, but you usually need 2 of the 7 drops anyway. So,
Yeah, we're talking about Maul, right? But, like, Maul is kind of like Nemean. You're saying, oh yeah, it requires a card that costs 8. There's another card, bro, that has 2 cards combo that also costs 8, which is basically Timely Intervention, Smuggle plus Vader, and that sees a lot of play, and that also costs like 8/9. And
but you smuggle that though, so you draw it at any point in the game.
Yeah, but
don't have to have them
people
both.
still play like what's it called, Shin Fury into Vader, and it's pretty good.
Not competitively, I would say.
I don't think that's competitive either.
competitive.
But yeah,
It's the color combination that's bad. It's not the combo that's bad. It's nobody plays because the color combination sucks. But in the right color combo, it's actually pretty good.
Talk about color combinations that suck: green, red, black. The colors of Maul, but maybe not in post rotation. We'll have to see.
yeah.
Yeah, you have Piet, so like right now actually like green red is played like.
Yeah, but you can't play. Yeah, but only Piet, right? And you can't play Maul in Piet. So
Well, next set maybe.
Okay.
no, you still won't, right? You've got capital ships. There's no way you would waste
no way,
the Piet ability. No way.
Most likely not.
I just want to come back to Luke very quick. If you compare Luke to Thrawn, so we said Thrawn is probably going to see more play after rotation. I agree with this, but Thrawn is significantly better than Luke. First of all, whenever you give the options to ready, he doesn't give a credit token to the opponent. And more importantly, he actually does something when he dies. He has a when defeated effect that captures stuff. So I think Thrawn he has a less restrictive color combination as well. So and I think that Thrawn is going to see play, but he's not going to be a powerhouse. It's not going to be a powerhouse either. I think Luke is going to see barely any play.
To be fair, I think it doesn't matter how good Thrawn is. That will have no impact on if Luke is going to be played or not, because it's a Virulent versus.
Yeah, of course.
Hard.
But I'm just saying that I'm just using the comparison as an argument, like as a.
It's just hard to know how good a late game card is going to have to be in the new world, right? Like, even if we go back to just set one set on its own, like Luke wouldn't have seen play then, right? So the new Luke. So like, but I do think we may even be in a weaker world than that, you know. So it just depends.
Yeah. I think, but for example, this Luke, if there is no, like, you're obviously going to play a deck there. If the opponent has no units on board, you just don't play this Luke. You play something else.
It's not as simple as that, though, is it? 'Cause sometimes you have to play your bomb. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there aren't many good
least-
late game cards that can't be played onto an empty board.
Worst case scenario, you get a 9/7 on board that they have to deal with. Still,
That's garbage.
like, I don't think that will be bad in next set.
Okay.
Like,
That's
yeah,
true. It's
post
not the end of the
rotation.
world. Yeah, that isn't the end of the world. In fairness. Yeah.
Okay, we'll see. I'm very skeptical, but we'll see.
But I also think that the power level will be significantly lower by post rotation.
But you know what? I've
Like-
actually built a lot of post rotation deck without Lawless Time, and I actually think that the decks are like they are weak, but they're not like they're weaker than what we have right now, obviously. But they're not like try to build Tiles in yellow or Tiles in red after rotation. It's not that much weaker than you. The only big card you're missing is False Lightning.
Yeah, there are a few very specific leaders
Force
that are
Lightning,
fine.
Power, Hotshot
Yep.
is also major. Like there are some.
They're all
but yeah.
replaceable though. To be fair, like
Yeah.
I think Talzin and Vader 4, like they really just don't lose that much. Like they're
Yeah,
just pretty
and those
good
are going to be
decks,
the
so-
leader that are going to set the standard of what a competitive deck
Yeah.
is capable of doing. So that's the thing, guys. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
the meta is going to be it's going to be weaker, but not that much weaker because, as I said, the decks that are going to set the standards, the power standards, are going to be those leaders that are barely losing anything.
Yeah,
Yeah, most
absolutely.
likely. Yeah.
Shall we move on to what we were going to do, the worst and best card in the game?
Yeah, no, I just want to say something. Is like
Yeah,
I was like my point I was saying is like I'm a little bit worried again that we're gonna get again a set that doesn't have very strong legendaries. Like it's from what we've
Yeah.
seen so far, I'm a little bit worried about this.
I want to add one thing to that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I remember correctly, but I think I heard FFG saying at one of the streams that the legendary feedback was taken into account, but for the
Yes,
set
they did
A,
say that.
I think they said something around those lines. So
No, they've confirmed it
think
has
we-
been for this set. It was for this set. I'm almost certain they confirmed that. So these
Okay.
legendaries are them improving them. So we'll have to see.
Yikes.
Well, like I said, we've only seen 7 or whatever, so we'll have to see. It's early
They're
days,
also
but
in
yeah.
context of new meta, so it
Yeah.
made sense that they would be weaker than Luke from set 1. Like
Yeah, no, I'm not
Luke from
asking
set
for
1
that.
was in a 1-set meta, so. But yeah.
But that set was pretty insane. It's
Yeah.
still the best cards, and we're in set 6. So
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I'm not asking for Luke Skywalker, Jedi Knight level of power, obviously, but I'm asking for more than what we're seeing so far.
Yep,
Like
that is
there's
fair,
still a
that is fair.
lot of there's just too many bad legendaries like Ben Solo, Chewbacca, like those cards have no business being that weak. Like like I can go on. Like there's obviously the new Ondo Naka. Like there's so many bad legendaries. Anyway, I think we've been around. That was a great discussion. Our next topic of conversation is a fun one. Is what do we think is the best and what do we think is the worst card? So we're gonna start with the best cards. I'm gonna do a round and asking people what do you think the best card is. So Dylan, we're starting with you. What do you think
So,
is the best
so
card
I
in
take
Styles
one
Unlimited?
which is not rotating out. I would probably say still Barrage, but I'm going with Charismatic now.
Karis Nemec,
because-
you think is the best card in the game right now? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool. Al.
Yeah, well, I think I said in the last podcast, I still believe Karasnemic is the single strongest card in the game. I think that there are other cards that do obviously more unique things, so like Vigilance, or there are these cards that are like super powerful, Hotshot Blaster, that are ubiquitous and they do really unique, powerful things. So they might have more of an impact on the meta as a whole. But Nemec, compared to other cards of his, compared to his colleagues, compared to what he's competing against, he is so much better in my opinion than other 2-drops. People can say, Mina Bonteri or something, can trade evenly with him and things like that. Like that doesn't make the card like he might have 1 or 2 2-drops that like trade evenly with him, but he also trades favorably against like most 2-drops, and then he trades favorably against most 3-drops, and then the things that defeat things like Mina Bonteri, Power of the Dark Side, or whatever you want to do, like they don't have the same impact with him. I think he's so much better than other 2-drops, and obviously he's staying post rotation as well. So like, and he doesn't rely on any other cards to be good. He's not like ECL where you need other cards. He's just on his own. You play enough red heroism cards in your deck, and the card is just absolutely bonkers.
And it's
Yeah,
so versatile. I mean, you can sneak out easy damage, not only with Hunter ECL. I mean, with Hunter ECL, you can play him and destroy him right away. But also, if you have a second one in hand and you just need the last few damage, you just
Absolutely.
play it again and destroy one of them. And,
Or the fact that he
get
has
the last
hidden,
ones.
obviously you can, he puts, you're in that
it's
right position
like
where, like in draft, it used to be in like, what was it, Legends of the Force draft, where we had hidden units, where you would just play the unit out and your opponent had no way to interact and they just lost. right? That happens all the time. You know how I know this card is busted is that when I play games of Sabine now, if I don't have Charisnemic, I can lose the game. If I have Charisnemic and my opponent doesn't, as Sabine, I don't think I can lose the game against any deck. I don't think I can lose the game. It's that
Wow,
good.
that's a
Like,
bold
the guy's,
take.
He's honestly the only reason Sabine is even a play. I know nobody plays Sabine right now, but like I've played enough against like the Swoop races on hand 2 ECL and enough to know that Sabine is a real deck if you're good enough with it. Like Charisnemic is the only reason Sabine even exists. Like Sabine wouldn't be playable without him, but with him, the deck actually is a real deck because you actually have one good turn 1 play. Every other turn 1 play sucks, but you have one that's just so good that it's basically unbeatable, in my opinion. So yeah, it's. I think the card is. I think people just don't quite grasp how busted that card actually is and how wrong they got it. I don't think there's any other card in the game where they just got the numbers too wrong on it, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, rant over. Oh, just quickly as well, but I think I've got the definitive correct answer for the worst card.
Okay,
so
well, we'll keep it that for later. Keep that for later.
Yeah. Pick me last for that because I want to.
Okay, that's good. That's gonna be some. There's gonna be some spicy discussion. And guys, you're gonna have to explain us what those cards do because we probably don't know. Adam.
No, I have a different card. Yeah, I do. Like, if there is a card that keeps to next set, it's Karis. But I think the most busted card is Han 2 leader unit. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't add leader in mind when I was doing the when I was thinking about that. I was thinking about regular cards, but that's fine. You can talk about Antu.
Yeah, like
Because
like,
leaders are kind of
it's a
separate
card.
categories in my mind. Like,
It's fair, but it's a card. You open it.
Okay,
In the pack.
okay.
But I think like it's the most broken design. Basically, like you do any card that's already great as long as you don't kill it. It's just better in Han, except Charisnemic that it gets.
Or even if you do.
Yeah,
if it's busted enough.
There's an extra thing even there. Like the best card in the game in every like potential way is even better in Han 2 because of Han 2. So that's like a good argument for him being the best. I think that's the best card. And it was also a boring design. Sorry, Sip. When they already had Han 1, it was like kind of just.
I don't think it's a boring design. It's just overpowered. That's the only problem.
And he got better with that set, with that chip, which can be played damaged and then make damage
Arc
and
170.
Karis. So.
Dylan, you really need to know the name of the card.
Yeah, I just wanted to confirm proof that you're right, that I never know names. And my students know that.
I was actually
oh man.
I was actually casting with Dylan on the on Tilburg, and it was so infuriating because he was trying to explain what the card do every time because he didn't know the
I
name
had
of the card.
the 2/4 which restore 1. So, the one you play in the first turn, you know.
So it would take hours for him to cast because he was like describing every single.
I could like a quiz. I could make a quiz with me casting, and the listeners have to.
The viewers have to say that's the card. Okay, Sip, what's the best card in the game?
For me, like I was hoping for 5 out of 5. So for me, it's also Namek. Like the 2 drops early games, like just such an important part of the game, and you can snowball a lot of matches just with a good turn 1, turn 2 plays, and Namek is doing just that. So don't really have much to add besides the fact that he is really good.
Okay. Are you also misgendering Namek?
No, actually, no, it's a guy, but yeah, like I saw so many people misgendering him that like I was doing one Patreon stream and that was like one of the topics.
Okay.
I actually thought
during one of the games, like someone was calling him a hair, and yeah.
Yeah, he looks like an old lady on the artwork.
Oh,
like.
come on, you guys need to watch more Andor.
Bro, I did watch it. I did watch it, and
That's
it's
a
still a
problem.
misgender.
Like, watch Andor, bros.
I did watch Andor. I suffered through
You
it.
need to see it a few more times.
Okay.
Right, Pierre, what's yours?
Oh,
What's your
God.
best card in the game? And is
Okay,
it
best
not
card
Namek?
in the game. It's definitely not Karis Namek.
Oh my god.
Okay, so I'm talking about the card that currently sees the most play among top 8 decks.
Resupply.
Yes. And also the card that swings your win percentage the most when you play. And that's Resupply. I think Resupply
second
is
only to
better now
Namek.
than it's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you think about it, right, one of the best deck, if you ignore Hunt 2 ECL, what are the best deck in the game? Yoda Data Vault, Han1 Green, Piet. All those decks get a huge boost in their win percentage when they play Resupply. I think Resupply is better now than it has ever been. It's a card that not only is the most played card in the game among the top 8 performing deck, it's also the card that swings your win percentage the most when you play it. So my opinion is Resupply.
Did you check the stats?
I checked the stats in terms of like playability, yes. And card that swing the win percentage, and no, I don't have stats for this, but it's my opinion based on my experience.
I feel like a couple of things about that. One, obviously, Resupply gets a boost because it's only command, right? So, like, any command deck can just shove it in. Like, obviously, not every command deck plays it, but I mean, they can put it in. Whereas, like, if you could play... if Nemec was a neutral card, obviously, that would be ridiculous. But if it was, you would play it in literally every single deck in the entire game, including hard control. So, like, you know, to me, it's like... It's, you know, and obviously the colours are part of the card, right? So it's fair enough. But it's like, I don't think Resupply should be like... just you know, like confiscate goes in every single sideboard, or you know, whatever. Do you know what I mean? It was confiscate for a time, when in every single sideboard ever. But it's like that doesn't make it the most powerful to me. Like, and I do think Nemec has a higher win. I think Nemec has a higher drawn win rate than Resupply personally, but I could be wrong about that. But yeah, but Resupply is obviously really high in that. And plus, Resupply is terrible after turn 2 in most decks. Whereas,
but that's the
Nemec
thing. It's not
incredible
true.
at every turn.
Yeah, it's not true right now. Like, because of how powerful it is in Yoda. Like, it's like even on turn 2, on turn 3, it's still very, very strong. It's like, the thing is, so about the argument about confiscate. Confiscate is a sideboard card, first of all, and like Resupply literally springs a entire category deck we call ramp decks. Like literally there's an entire categories of decks in the game. There's entire archetypes which are like ramp controls, ramp and ramp mid range. Like whenever you make you make the 5 categories of deck in Star Wars Limited, it's always aggro, tempo, mid range, ramp mid range, ramp control, and hard control. Like there's literally 2 entire categories of deck that are basically based on ramp. But like it's such a core card of the game. That for me is but I was saying there's not one definitive answer to that question. That's why it's an interesting question. Yeah. Cool. Moving on now to what we think is the worst card, and I'm sure we're gonna have very different answers on that one. Sip, we're going back to you. What do you think is the worst card in the game?
Okay. So my card is Enforced Loyalty. Like, the card is so bad at so many different levels.
You got to tell us what it does, because I'm not sure every viewer...
I think half of the people might not even know what it does, but it's like double green card from Shadows that costs 2 and says defeat a friendly unit. If you do, draw 2 cards. So, first of all, this card is in like the worst like double aspect combination. Like double green's like the weakest out of all of the double like aspect combination. I guess maybe mono red, but yeah, green is like very bad. And I don't think I have seen a single deck that runs this card. And yeah, even if this card was like single aspect, for 2 resources, this effect is still unplayable. Maybe for 0. I guess for 0 it would be good, but there's so many wrong things with this card that, yeah, it's absolutely unplayable.
That's a good pick. That's a good one. It's like, I can see... The only argument that I have against it is I can see a world where that could be good.
So can I. Yep, so can I. If there's a meta where tokens are really, really easy to get hold of, like 0-1 tokens or something, then you would probably include that.
Also in mono green.
But yeah, I mean it's obviously a very narrow world, but I can see a world where it sees play. But it's a good pick anyway. It's a very good pick. Like basically what I would consider like the worst card in the game, it has to be a card that is unplayable in both constructed and limited, and a card that we think has no chance to ever see play in the future. Cool. So, and it definitely fit that definition, so it's a good pick for that. So, Dylan, what do you think is the worst card in the game?
Yeah, now when you said might never see play, I might hesitate now. But I'm going with the problem with the worst card is there are a lot of worst cards, but we would never play them. So we probably don't know half of the worst cards we could pick here.
That is
So
very
I'm
true.
going with my first hyperspace rare foil I got in my booster, which I still have because nobody wants it, and that's Galactic Ambition.
Galactic Ambition. Okay. I'm gonna have
But
to
it could
strongly
see
disagree
play in
on
a
this
world.
one.
So yeah, I thought it might see actually play at some point, but yeah, I'm going with it because I still have it and nobody wants it for free.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to strongly disagree with Galactic Ambition. So Galactic Ambition, people don't know, it's a 7-cost event that allows you to play a card from your hand, and you lose as much SP as the price from your card, and you play the card for free. So I think Galactic Ambition is actually really strong. It's just they never printed a card big enough to make Galactic Ambition worth it. And Galactic Ambition, believe it or not, actually saw a little bit of play. There's some people who were in set 1 playing like Devastator, Galactic Ambition tech in sideboard. I even remember Wu running this in a sideboard. So it's a card that has seen a little bit of competitive play, even though it was extremely niche. And it's a card that definitely has a potential in the future. Like, think about it, Dylan. Think about, like, if, let's say, a card of the level of power of Endless Legion that costs 14, you would 100% pay 14 HP to be able to play Endless
only
Legion for
unit.
7. It's not a unit, so that of course it obviously that
Yeah, but
doesn't
he's saying
work.
that if they print a similar thing that is a unit.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
If they print like a card that is similarly in power level of Endless Legion, a unit that costs 14, Galactic Ambition would definitely be insanely good in that deck, because it would basically be 7, you win the game as long as you have more than 14 HP. I guess
If
it's
it
only
would be
12,
wide,
right?
it would have nice synergy with My Only Hope, because you get yourself down to almost no life, and then My Only Hope is free. But
In fairness to Dylan, I think, and Mikkel, I think but neither of those cards are going to see play. So I think it's fair to say that yes,
it might not be
could
the worst card.
It could
ever,
in future, but I am very confident Galactic Ambition will never be a competitive card. But obviously it could be. But I just don't think it will be.
I think Galactic Ambition has far more chances to see competitive play than the Enforced Loyalty, I think.
Oh,
We're not even close to the worst card in the game yet, though. So we're not even close to mine yet. So
Okay. We'll keep Al for the end. Okay, Adam, what is the worst card in the game?
Like, it's too many shit cards to research completely, but I went with Planetary Invasion. I think that card is absolutely atrocious. It costs 12.
Okay,
Exploit 3,
tell us what it does.
Ready up. So basically, it says exploit 3, so you can cheapen it, obviously, to ready up to 3 units. Each of those units gets +1 and overwhelmed for this phase. Like, at what point in Star Wars Unlimited have we had, like, units to sack 3 to stand up multiple units and having 1 power be any sort of value? Like,
Well, you also ready the
12.
units, though.
I mean, you don't need to sack anything. You can play it just for 12.
And then it's even worse. Like, it's like, when do you play 12 to then you can play like Final Showdown of Aspects in red, and it's like better. This card is like completely atrocious. Should have cost like 8, and it would still not be played probably.
So I want to give you a pro and a con here to your pick. So I think the great thing about your pick is that, unlike the other two, it's a legendary. So if, you know what I mean, like the fact that they had the nerve
The
to make
audacity.
this a legendary, I think is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah,
but
like...
so I think you should get props for that. But I will say that I can imagine a world where Planetary Invasion, you're playing a combo deck that has lots of when defeated. You know, it's like Thrawn when defeated combo deck. And then, like, your opponent taps out, and then this is kind of like that. You know, what's that new legendary from the set with the Palpatine in his chair, whatever that card's called?
The
10-cost one. Yeah, and I should really know card names, but that card's never going to see play either. So, but yeah, it's kind of like
it
that
does.
10-cost
It
one. But I
does see
think
play, bro. It's
Plus
seen
1
play
and
in
overwhelm.
fucking Palpa Target Town.
Sentinels doesn't prevent you from
there
getting
you go,
damage.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So I do think the Planetary Invasion, like, it has like a 1 in a million chance of seeing play, but it is utterly atrocious. And
Yeah, because if you can play that, you probably have already
That's
won.
true. That's true.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just always a bit skeptical about exploit because you never know what they might.
What do you
print
think?
that
Is it
just
better or
has-
worse than Planetary Ambition?
I think it is
Galactic
worse.
Ambition.
I think it is worse than Galactic Ambition.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I
I think it's
agree.
got less chance of seeing play, and it is a legendary as well. So
Yeah, it's
That's,
like the audacity to print that as a legendary. Like that someone opens a
But-
pack and see I got a
Yeah,
legendary
yeah.
and they got
And
that.
and you
It's like,
and the problem is you always know you only get 4 or 5 legendaries in a
Yeah.
display.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
if it would be like totally random and
Especially
you
in
know you
Twilight.
get 8 or 9, it doesn't matter. But you know that's one of the 5.
yeah.
And then
It
you get
honestly
the other
ruined
green
this
one,
card,
which is equally bad.
Yeah, this
Green
card like
one-
ruined
What's
collecting
the name,
for me.
Thorrk? What's the name of that?
Which card?
Confidence in
the
victory.
green one.
Confidence in victory.
Oh.
Yeah. Yes.
Or the green one. Which,
Oh, no, 'cause the green one I'm gonna talk about
personally, Planetary version personally destroyed collecting for me as well because I bought loads of booster boxes up until set 3, and then set 3 when I realised that all the legendaries are worthless, and this one was worth less than like the bad rares. I was like, you know what, nah, this I'm not doing this anymore. So,
Yeah.
so well done, FFG.
Same experience for me. Yeah.
Like yeah, I think so far I think Planetary Invasion. I agree with Al that I can see like if it's ever sees play is gonna be in a weird combo deck that is able to put infinite units on the board and it's just like an extra in a way to just unexhaust those units and just win. Like I can see this as like being like sort of a weird obscure win condition. But I agree. Ultimately, I agree that it's very very unlikely to see play, and the fact that it's a legendary, I think Humble wins it so far. As far as the 3 people who've been revealing their worst cards so far, I think Humble wins it just because it's a legendary, which adds insult to injury. Okay, so my pick for the worst card in the game is Consolidation of Power. So this card costs, it's a green-black card from Twilight of the Republic, the infamous set. That costs 6 as a green-black requirement. Choose any number of friendly unit. You may put a unit from your hand if its cost is less than equal as the combined power of the chosen unit for free. Then defeat the chosen unit. It is basically, so you know like how exploit is one of the worst mechanic in the game. This is basically exploit with extra step and extra cost to it. It's so incredibly bad. Like it's incredibly bad. Obviously there's ways to abuse it where you can give a temporary buff and then take advantage, but even that is so bad because it's like temporary buff I don't really give that much, and then they also are temporary, so you have to pay this, and then this card costs 6. It's so expensive. Like you're never gonna save any money doing that, and after you have to defeat the chosen unit. It's just wow. This card is just like so bad on so many levels, and it is not a legendary, but it is a rare. So
Okay. Can I? Right, I'm going to put my thoughts to you. 1, I think you win the award for the worst card because of the text, like the most convoluted card.
yeah,
Like, choose any number of friendly units. You may play a unit from your hand if its cost is less than or equal to the combined power of the chosen units for free. Then defeat the chosen units. It's the most poorly worded, like convoluted, ridiculous card that takes you forever to understand what it's doing, and then it's basically kind of weirdly exploiting. And it's in the set where they brought in exploit as well, so they could have just reworded it a bit and then made it exploit in some way, but no, they didn't do that. So yeah, I think for that reason it's atrocious. I do think it's kind of like Galactic Ambition in a lot of ways, though, where like you could imagine a world where they print like a super high power unit that's like really cheap, and then like there's a way to cheese out a combo with it. So to me it's like in a similar category to both of those, where it's like Planetary Invasion or Galactic Ambition, where I think there's like a 1 in a million chance where a combo could be birthed from it. But yeah, I mean the card is obviously terrible card.
okay. I'll just talk
One
a
thing
bit.
I can say.
Sorry.
One thing I can say in defense of this card is I had this card played once against me, so it was more than Enforced Loyalty or Planetary Invasion or any of those cards.
Yep, that
There
is
you go.
last place.
Did the
Clearly.
player win
God.
against you?
No, of course not. Like Beton Greg made at some point like a shitty Vot Tambor deck, and it didn't work. But he played that card once, and it was enough to put it in the garbage.
So the thing is like even if there's some sort of combos, as you were saying, with a very very high stat units that is super cheap, which is incredibly unlikely to ever be printed. So that we'll also have to take this into account. The card still costs 6, so it's not like whatever combo is gonna come out, there's not gonna be like It's not gonna be crazy.
It's cheaper than Galactic Ambition, though.
No, but Galactic Ambition only needs a strong unit. That's all it
Yeah, yeah.
needs. Like Galactic Ambition to be playable, just to make you aware, guys. It just needs a very powerful and expensive unit, which is going to happen, guys. It's only a matter of time. I think Galactic Ambition is gonna be semi-playable at some point. It's only a matter of time. And it's already been competitive. That's the thing. Like, it's already been used, Galactic Ambition, like at a competitive level. So
Right, can I now
okay,
reveal
go ahead.
at long last what is actually the worst card in the game?
Okay.
Right, this one I can guarantee has never been played against any of you, for 100% guarantee. Well, actually, I say that. I don't know what you guys do in your spare time, but it shouldn't have been played against you. It's strictly worse than a card, than many cards that already exist in the game. It's cheating a little bit, but it is the worst card, and it is legal in Premier, and that is Forward Command Post. And I don't know if any of you know what that card is.
What does it
but
do?
I'll tell you what it is.
I
It's
think I know
it's a
what the card is.
base. It's an intro battle to Hoth base with 20 HP. So you lose 10 HP for no benefit.
Okay.
That
Okay.
is the de facto worst card in the game.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
That's cheating,
Okay.
yeah.
I have to say something about this. I have a confession to make. I actually lost to that card.
That's
That
amazing.
is.
I will explain. I will explain how. The guy was playing, so the yellow 20 HP base, and he was playing Yoda. He was playing Yoda yellow, and he was playing the combo version of Yoda. When if you get to 5 HP, you can get to You My Only Hope. And
Oh, I knew a
and-
name. You didn't.
Sorry. Yeah,
I knew a name of a card where you didn't.
I knew the card. It was I just needed
I
time to.
didn't feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it.
Yeah, you didn't leave me enough time to remember it. Anyway, and actually the 20 HP base in this deck made sense because it allowed him to get faster into the 5 HP range.
Yeah, but
and
it
I
doesn't
didn't.
make sense, right? Because all you do is you still play around it in exactly the same way, but you just kill them many turns quicker. So it doesn't make sense because you just deal less damage to them.
Yeah, but just because I lost to it, bro, it cannot be considered.
No, you misplayed. You misplayed.
No, I didn't misplay
just
because
lost.
I completely forgot about that combo. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna kill him, and it was at 5. It was exactly at 5. I could have avoided that. I could have put him at 6 and just kill him the turn after, but I completely forgot about that combo.
Because you know what I mean? Because like, yes, you do the You're My Only quicker, but because you die quicker, it literally is strictly worse, even for You're My Only Hope decks. So yeah, I don't think this deck, and you know the one thing I was thinking with this before I gave that answer. Obviously, Echo Caverns is the other one that they're both the same. The one thing I was going to say is that maybe there'll be like a leader that wants a low HP base. You know, like Anakin wants damage, but because of the way Star Wars Limited does damage, they never print leaders that care about your actual base number.
Yeah.
They care about how much damage is on your base. So
Yeah.
even I don't think there is ever going to be a reality where this base can ever see play,
No.
even though it is legal.
I think this card. You know what? I got another argument. I think this card is OP because of the emotional damage that it deals to the opponent
true.
whenever you win. So in that
As far
sense,
as you didn't
it's an
quit the game, to
incredibly-
be fair, you should have quit the game in shame.
Yeah, I did.
That's why Thorrk didn't play this set a lot.
Yeah, exactly. I was ashamed.
Like
I
the meta sucks.
I took a 3-week break from Star Wars Unlimited because I was just ashamed.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good
And
way to
that's the
flex on
first time
somebody,
you're
isn't it?
telling us.
That's
So
what
it must be a
Sip should
relief
do.
now.
Sip should bring that to the next tournament because he won the last one. The next major, he should turn up with this just as a flex. And be like, I can beat people with a 20.
Yeah, like
HP base.
Bitor, who were running like meme decks after, but they were good.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You just run forward command post. It's the only way.
I mean, running
Play
troll
stuck
decks
in
just
yellow and
to.
just go full space and hope race will win.
Yeah.
I think running bad decks just to humiliate people is more of a Baton thing than a Sip thing.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Right, well, there we go. That was a fun discussion.
Yeah, you see, it was more fun than you guys expected. Yeah, like Sip was like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna get boring. We're just going to talk about the worst cards," and it's like, yeah, it's gonna be exciting because
There was a real debate. There was a real debate.
Okay, guys. Well, it's been about an hour and a half we've been talking. We said we're gonna keep this one short, so we're gonna cut it out now. We'll keep the other topics that we had prepared for another time, for another podcast. It was an absolute pleasure to get Adam and Dylan in the podcast for once. And looking forward to see you guys again for another podcast. You guys have anything else to say before we close this one out?
Good
No,
night,
not
racers.
really.
Island.
The classic of everybody
Yeah.
speaks talk at once and nobody understands. Okay, Al, do you have anything to close out this beautiful podcast?
Yeah, just it's been good fun. I've had a lot of fun on this one. I just think if anybody's got any suggestions for topics, they'd be really awesome if you put them in the comments, and then we can obviously look at those and see if there's anything. I'm just suggesting that. I mean, it's Thorrk's channel, but I'm making suggestions for him.
Who do you think he
That'd be
is?
a good idea. Yeah.
Alice
But that'll be
indirectly saying the topics that Thorrk is picking is bad and he needs help.
Yeah, please leave new topics. No, it's funny. The topics you least expect, they're the ones that bring out the true debates. But yeah, I just want to say, I think Swoo's in a pretty good place, like in terms of the sets and the meta and everything. I just think that rotation, as we've said many times, is going to be huge for the game. The reveals so far have been like very hit and miss, and I'm a little bit worried, but I'm hopeful, and I just think that like, please, I wish FFG, I don't know if they'd watch these kind of things, but I hope they do, because I just think if they just listen to, the community is so knowledgeable about like what will make, I mean, not everybody, but you know what I mean, there's a lot of people in the community who, are knowledgeable about what will keep this game going. And I just think if they just listen, like this fantastic game could really have a long lifespan. So I'm so hopeful. Please FFG.
I
listen.
actually just sent a big email to Xander this morning about the tiebreaker rules applied to Swiss. So
Did you credit me with the?
I absolutely
with the-
did, man. I did.
Oh, you
credit
did. Also,
you.
okay.
Not only did I did that, I also put the name of every single person who agreed with that petition. So there's basically all you
fantastic.
guys' name on it.
There we go. I'm glad to hear it. Now, whether they
Yeah,
listen or not, who knows?
I'm just
but at least we're
salty that
doing
Al
it.
wrote it first, because I had talked about that exact solution in Sweden basically before. So it's
Oh,
like,
did you? Well, is there anybody who can vouch for that? Because I just think
No,
you're just trying to
nobody in
claim
Sweden
my.
would vouch for me. They are already mad.
You're just
about
trying to
me
steal my
beating them.
thunder.
Yeah.
By the way, we are talking about top 8 tiebreaker rules being applied to Swiss games, so there's no more draws and no more IDs. That's basically the stuff that we are.
It's a
were talking about.
no-brainer. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
Do
actually
it.
it is. Yeah.
Cool. So, Humble, anything you want to say before we close this out?
That I actually had the idea before Al first. I just say that, That's all I want to say.
And Dylan, do you have something to say?
No, I have nothing to say.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was great fun. So looking forward to the next one.
Absolutely. And our champion, our Tilburg champion, our meta grinder, Sip. Anything you want to say before we close this out?
Like I mentioned, good night, racers.
Yeah, good
It's
night,
already
racers.
past midnight for us here.
Yeah, no, hopefully we got many racers listening to the podcast. It's great. It's obviously the greatest Patreon in the world. And I say this completely ironically. It's the best Patreon to subscribe to, honestly. If you want to bring your game to the next level, you got two of the best player in the world helping you out. So it's really great stuff. Yeah, thank you guys for listening, and we'll be back for more. See you next time, guys.